All right, we are on air.
Okay. Welcome. We're back at it finally. Apologize for the long delay. It's all Pete's fault. And we have been working away a bunch of different things. Had a meeting with Jerome, and we've kind of settled out how we're going to move forward with a lot of different things here. In January, February, which we'll have that announced here pretty soon over some definitive dates, we are going to have in Florida, so that way everybody that's getting cold could come down and see us, and we want to get warm too. We're going to have in Florida, we're going to have at least a 3-day training sessions in dealing with the 2 different products or 2 different sections plus a beginner set. These are going to be limited to 10 people or less, depending upon the number. It is going to be intensive training on WinDev Mobile as one, WebDev with Pete as another, and all the beginning items with Glenn Rathke in a third room. There won't be sessions that you can rotate around on this. This is you're signing up for a certain class. So once you get done with the class, then you can do it. Then from after this first one, quarterly, we will rotate around with new features and things like this and have just a single class for each section. So that way everybody can get in there and start signing up for it and doing different things. So. But anyway, we're going to announce we're looking for the right venue down there around Palm Beach, Florida, or just outside of Palm Beach, Florida. We'll be announcing that and publishing that out there. We're going to make it as reasonable as possible. And if Glenn will turn off his camera, we'll probably do a lot better. And then once we get going, we can certainly have all the classes and stuff doing. We're also looking at putting together the first conference next year. The conference is going to be moved upwards to be more of a announcement and show off of version 22 and its features, plus new items and things that we have coming out, as well as there'll be some breakout sessions, but it's going to be less of training and more of here's the new features of 22. There'll be specials on during that time if you want to go ahead and upgrade while you're there, or during that time while the DEFCON's going, we'll look at putting in some specials for that. So we're going to be announcing when that's going to be as well, and that'll be a lot more reasonable cost as well. We're looking to keep it as reasonable as possible. That's basically announcements. If we got anything to add, did I forget anything, Pete?
A lot of stuff, but
you don't remember it either.
Everything's on Google Plus, and we're going to be providing more and more details as we go along. The blog's up and running live.
Correct.
That right now it's all of my old content from the next stage, but all 3 of us will be contributing articles to that blog moving forward. So you'll have 3 different writing styles, all the way from Andy's caveman style to my rambling style to the professor's actually readable style.
Hey, I got my hammer and chisel. I know how to make this work. On another note, one of the things that we've talked with Jerome is we've got the LST being sent to us now. I just got the LST 105. And what I will be doing in this, you can't expect all of them to be done at once, because that's not going to happen. But as we go through and start doing these webinars, we're going to be basing it in part about things that we gleaned out of the LST for y'all. We'll be translating whichever project that we're going to use for the webinar from French to English and provide that as well. So granted, like I said, we're going to learn a little bit more about French, obviously, but it's going to take some time, depending upon the size of the program, to actually translate it completely from French to English, so that way everything is correct. But that's where things are going to be. That's how our webinars are going to move forward. WebDev, WinDev, and WinDev Mobile. We'll be setting those up and giving you some look-sees at them. Also, the YouTube channel, I'm going to be reorganizing it. Right now, it's just a listing of all of the webinars we've done. There are things called labels up there that will allow us to segregate from beginners, you know, medium, advanced, WebDev only, WinDev, mobile, you know, whatever it may be. So that way you can more navigate to find what you're looking for as we do this. Also, with the new advent of the YouTube change for Google Plus and screen, you know, in these recordings, there's also keywords that you can add now. So that's going to help us make sure that we've got proper keywords for you guys to be able to search for the webinars that you're looking for. So this morning I had posted, you know, a few days ago, 3 different things to look at, and obviously there was a plethora of people that was voting on there, so I made the choice. And so we're going to talk about the telemetry and how it can be utilized in your program. Telemetry is a most wondrous tool. And the reason why is because in the background, and the way that PCSoft has put this together, is all of your WinDev programs can send a number of issues or a number of statistics that you would like to see from your programs to a central repository that you can pull down in your application. Okay. In doing so, this allows us to monitor the program no matter where it is in the world or the country or in the office. It allows you to see where people are having problems. If you got a huge program, you can see where windows are probably never used and you can get rid of them. You can fine tune. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And we're going to go through some of those, including making some of your own functions and telemetry as well, to add in items that you want to look at, particularly in your program that they don't normally look at. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. We're not going to go through the installation of the telemetry. That is a Pete thing. Pete did the last one. If we really need to have a deal on that, then he'll create a blog on how to do that if everybody needs to do it. Other than that, if you need a telemetry and you don't have a virtual machine or a web service out there to put it on, contact us, because we can actually, for a little small deal, get you on ours, and you can use the telemetry we've already set up. And that'll be provided by wxPerts LLC. So let's kind of get into this. Telemetry, as you can see, I've got one up here right now. What this is you can get to it from the main product. You'll see today's telemetry, no use today. I'm going to first of all show you how to set it up. Okay. And when you want to set it up, you'll see that it comes up with telemetry and says enabled the telemetry. In doing so, go out here to this, go out here to the flow. It's basically the description of the configuration. So you're used to seeing that, but it's got one more tab out here called telemetry. You click that and it'll give you the different sections of what you need to work with. The server, user ID, and password are given to you at the time you create and install your telemetry. Once you put it in once, It sticks with your local development machine, so it's not hard. It comes up automatically now. I don't have to worry about it. You can have it as a local network or internet, whether it's HTTP or HTTPS. We have it as HTTP, or you can go to PCSoft's cloud platform. Once you've done this, okay, I can trigger the automatic and triggering the collection by the program. Put in the application name, and I click okie dokie. Once that's done, now I have telemetry set up in this project, and from here on out, any testing, any functionality from there on is going to include the telemetry information. On this one here, we already have it. As you can see, what happens is when I go to telemetry, I get a listing of every program that is up there that is underneath that user ID. Okay? And that gives you a listing of there. I put a bunch of them in here from different test programs and things that I have. So this allows you to kind of look through and see everything, and you can go to different ones and see what you need to have. Or how things work. Now, if I go to a particular system, I can actually look at what's happened in a period of time. This was from 10.1 to 10.21. It shows me the list of the users, how many times they've been on it, not been on it, how many times the most elements used, which is usually going to be the main program, and I can show more. We'll go through that. Used elements, I can say what most frequently run actions, what that action is the most, what took the longest time. I can took errors, and I've got errors there, and it's usually because there's still some debugging or debug on this program, and how many of the users have been accessed or problems. So let's take a look at the language errors. And I'm going to go to that program because I want to make sure I'm in it. Okay, so while I'm in here, I can see that I've had a certain number of items in here, and you can see that, no, I'm on the wrong one. I need to go to the other side part. There we go. Let's go to this one. Okay. And it's retrieving the data from the server and bringing it down. So what are we into? Right now it's saying that we have an issue right here on EOB claim status, and it's saying that, oh, dimension of 1 of array contains 0 elements. Well, that's pretty simple. That means whatever they think is there ain't there. The array delete is not there, and how can you fix it? I can go straight to the code right now and fix that problem. Okay? And the way to do it now is that I've got this delete. I do greater than 0 there, and I made this on purpose. And that tells me, I'm sorry, that's not if ret val. If our sysid is greater than 0, then array delete. Now I've got a value. So that takes care of that error from here on out. This is the good thing about this entire process, is because I can go back through there if they're working in a new area or a new function, and I can look through any of the issues that they have and deal with them and solve the problem now and give them a new release. As you go through building new functions in your program, as you do this, you're going to see some of these things come up. And believe me, there are times I look at it and go, what? You know, because you can't figure out how they do it, but it also eliminates the entire process of, well, how did you do that? Well, I don't know.
Another important thing to note is this didn't require any end-user action to report the error. So even errors that they didn't tell you they're having.
And I can promise you, nobody has told me that error, period. Same thing in some of these. And you can actually narrow it down. Let's say that you fixed all these problems up to here. I can narrow it down and say, okay, so, well, what's this one? And I can say, well, there's number of errors was 4 of them during that period of time. Well, okay. And how many here? I've had 6 of them in that area. So I can look through here and try to figure out what's going on. And I can fix any one of the issues that we have going on. This is a great tool for that. So if you're having to manage a distributed application that is out there in multiple places, you're using it on the web, you're using it to work with the web services, things like this, this is a great tool to do it. You can say what's happening today, okay? What happened yesterday, okay? And what's happened the last 7 days, which is usually what I look at, is what's happened in the last 7 days, because there's a, you know, try to get at least a little going there. I have how much memory's been used, the memory average per day, because since I use a lot of arrays and stuff in there, I'm using memory, so I've created a memory use value. And if that's turned on, I get it. I can look at each one of the hardware and see whether or not that the screen resolution is what we're looking at. So what's my average resolution? Well, average is 1600 by 900 is what it should be. I've got some that are down at 1440 and some a little bit less, but they're all supposed to be at 16 by 1900, okay? Number screens up, how many is on UAC? The languages, obviously all of them are English at the moment. How many are being used on Windows 10? How many used on Windows 7 as example? And this is Windows XP. I actually got one that's on Windows XP on this one. You can see what RAM's being used. Most of them are 8 gigabyte. There's some that are 3, and there's some that are 4. So I've got 18% that got 8 gigs. 73% of them are 4 gigabytes. Now, what that tells me is I need to manage my memory, especially in the 4 gigabyte range, because I don't want to overload the memory with a bunch of array variables and stuff. So I would keep that down. That allows me to deal with all that. You can build your own reports. These are reports that have not been used yet, none reported in there. What are the main windows? These are the windows mostly used. Obviously, the main program, you know, the main window is going to be the highest. Most frequently run actions is, you know, the different codes and stuff in there, the functions. What took the longest? Well, I got a report that's 4 minutes. Windows less used, these are things that hardly ever get used. Windows that are not used, so I can list up every one of the windows that they haven't used yet, which is fine. I can take the longest processes, select in the menu, things like this, and look through a lot of the stats for my program and see how they're using it. The summary gives you a lot of that information as you get through this and see what's going on. I do like all this. Most of the time, you know, let's be honest, I jump into the anomalies and I look and see if there's any programs that need to be fixed or pieces that need to be fixed, fix those pieces and move on. And it certainly is an awesome system. Now, where can it go? That's where that you can actually create your own things to monitor, okay? And the reason why I say that is because as a custom telemetry, you get that back to you as well. I'd like to see a few more features in here, which we'll talk about, but let's talk about this. We have values, we have a line widget, and we have columns. That's the different types that we can get into, and the description. Okay, so let's talk about creating a column. Well, I can go in here and I can create the total value, average, minimum, maximum, the total time, average, minimum, maximum, and then of course you got the total number of passages, average, minimum, maximum, counters, and users on down the line. So let's say if I wanted to know the number of average select through one of the processes. So I can get the total value and I can say charges select as an example. And there I've got a new sensor called charge select, or let's go patient charge select here. Okay, and I hit the plus. Now I get a new one. All right, so now that I've got that in there, I can tell it, go ahead and publish that up to the server so I can see what's happening. Of course, there's nothing in there at the moment. So how do I add that to the process? There's a function in the help that we'll go through. It's called Telemetry Add Measure. Once you created that function, you have the ability to add this into your program. Adding that into your program then now will actually function and deal with this as you move forward. So where do we do that? So let me move that out of the way. And I'm going to go into that proper area here to manage that. And we'll go to financial review charges. Got to go to init. Okay, right here. So this is where I would put in telemetry, add measure, and I'm going to add in as example. And that will add that piece in right there. I think that I should be patient charge. Look at my deal here. Okay, let's go back to my telemetry. Lost it, that's why. Patient charge count. Spelled properly would help. Give me the total value. And say okay. Now that I have that, oh, I got to deploy it. That was the problem. I have to deploy it. So there's my deploy for that particular one. I get it in the SCM, and then I'll have it. I apologize, I forgot to deploy it. So it's going to go through and set that up in there, and I will then put it back in the custom telemetry. Once you've added the measure, from now on, when this is published, you're going to start seeing the totals come up here on this by user. So I'll be able to see how many that was selected each time as it goes through and manage and see how many processes or how many max number of records are being selected each time they jump out there and start working with the program. I'd like to see some additional items being added to this as well, because right now we have values and lines and columns, and even under values, I don't have anything that adds in a message, okay? Which is what I'd be looking for. There's sometimes I want to throw a message up there saying that they've done this or done that. Right now, the telemetry only deals with messages and things like that, okay? So you got a count of that. Now, there is a passage, okay, portion of this as well, and this is something that you can also look at. So let's say if I want the number of passages on sensor per day, what would be the passage that we're looking for? What is a passage? Up there in the help, if we look at Telemetry Add Passage, what it is that I can add a passage for any piece of action code that I want. I can tell it that it's done. This one here's how many times a order cancellation was done, how many times they changed a stat from, say, approved to deal, how many times they voided a transaction. Things like this is what it does, okay? And this is mainly dealing with an application feature, okay? So it gives you total number of users, percentage of users who have used the feature over a period of time. It can give you all kinds of little stats with that. And the way I've started looking to use it is more of, you know, kind of stats from how many people have voided out transactions, how many people have approved transactions, how many people have changed patients, things like that is what it's what I use it for. And once you have that passage in there, when you add that passage, then obviously you can come up here and give you the total number of passages and tell it what you're doing. So you would type in whatever that is, the passage name that you created is, in order to fill this out, and then you would have your passages. There are several other little functions. You can identify the user, okay? And basically tell it what the unique username is, so that way you can have what users that's also been set up inside the program and know that this is the person that had that error. So if you need to talk to them about the error, you can actually know which user it is. May help you, may not. If you're working in an enclosed environment, it certainly will. If you're out there selling your product to everybody around the world, it may not help you as much. But this allows you to do that as well. Also, you can turn it off by doing a telemetry disable for the moment. You can re-enable it if you want to. You can add, you know, we've already talked about the adding the measure and deleting it. I expect this is the first year for the telemetry. I fully expect this to expand. I expect to see a lot more items that the telemetry is going to expand to do, because in essence, what it is, from the most simplest term, is a background push of XML data to be stored up there on the web. Since it's a background push of XML data to be stored on the web, and the telemetry server up there grabs that data as it is a web service, it can, in essence, store anything that it wants. It's just a matter of programming in the different things that would be useful for the majority of people. So I expect to see this expand in version 22 to have some newer features to it. I would like to see on this some features like not only just the errors that are coming through as far as bugs and stuff are concerned, but even a remote trace. A remote trace would be excellent to where you can set up your trace to have a trace telemetry, or telemetry trace, I guess that's what you call it. But you can put that in your program and enable it or disable the trace, and then you can actually turn that on remotely for a certain user. That would be great. As a note, okay. But that's the items that you currently have with the telemetry. You can make up as many of these custom ones that you had. Wolfgang, you've been using this for a while too, is my understanding, right? Hello, Wolfgang. Turn on your mic, son. Wolfgang is around. He's been using it too, because he's got a lot of customers in South Africa and stuff, and he's in England. So there he is.
Sorry.
You've been using it as well, right?
Yeah, I've been using it a lot, the telemetry.
Do you have any custom items that you put in?
Yes, we have. We're running it across the continent, so we're doing telemetry from one end of the country to the next continent. So, but it's very handy because you can see every telemetry what's going on, and you know what's going on in the applications, and then you can straight away kill the bugs before the clients even complain about it. So, which is great.
Right. Do you have any custom ones that you put together?
Custom ones in using the telemetry on the custom one? No, not yet as yet. I've
Not
just
yet.
used the
You
normal
haven't done
one.
any custom ones yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah.
I put in a couple. I have not expanded on them yet.
Yeah.
I have not. Some of the things has to deal with specifics for a program. Like I said,
Yeah.
And you could add those by adding the passage part using the passage.
So far, what they've given us in the telemetry part is excellent, because I don't really have to put anything yet in, especially what I wanted. But what they've given us, the telemetry, what they've given is fantastic. The only difference I did is I changed the size of the file which gets downloaded. I think their default is 5 megs or something like that. And because in Africa a lot of the bandwidth is low, we've put it down to I think 100K or something like that.
Okay, so you've dropped it down so it comes down more often and smaller chunks.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't had to do that. We're in America. We don't have that problem.
I know you guys are America, so you flipping guys brag too much about your bandwidth.
I know. Well, we don't have bandwidth compared to some European countries. But anyway, what we've done here is we've set this up on a virtual machine up on Amazon to run up there. So it is fully useful anywhere in the world, basically.
Ours is also sitting in Amazon, which is great.
And it works great because I don't have to deal with it, and it just keeps on chugging. And if I really have to deal with it, I tell Pete to fix it. So it's not a big problem. So it works out for most of us.
Always passing the buck, I know that.
It's delegated.
No wonder why poor Pete is having a stressful time.
I got him a shirt. Come on.
You got a shirt. Yeah, get well soon, eh?
That's right. So anyway, that's about the everything on telemetry. Unless Glenn or Pete got anything to add that they would like to add to this.
No, I haven't started.
You're on WebDev. You don't get to use it on WebDev. Now, it's my understanding, if I remembered right, or am I wrong, Pete, they were looking at putting it in for WebDev next year.
I know there was some things mentioned about it down there, but I don't remember the details because again, I kind of tuned them out since, for the most part, I haven't gotten into telemetry yet. So
okay. I'm not quite sure. We'll double check. Obviously, when we get into showing what's going to happen in 22 and stuff like that, then we'll know. I think it would be an awesome feature for web dev and mobile, for that matter, especially the mobile environment, and really help development and help your programs as you move forward. So if you're not currently using the telemetry, I suggest you looked into it. You can contact us on the Google Plus forum if you need any answers to it or assistance. We're obviously not experts is what I'd say at the moment, but I've been through enough of it now to kind of get my head around exactly what it's doing and could probably help you out through it. If you have any WinDev program that is a distributed desktop program and you're not using it, well, you're doing yourself a disservice because it certainly makes your life easier and how you work through things. And you can solve the problems a lot quicker when you see them. That's about it in a nutshell from there. There's not a whole lot more to talk about. Again, what did we say? We're going to do webinars now once a month?
Yeah, that's the basic plan. As we get back up to speed here, you'll probably see more blog articles with quick tips, little pieces of code we found. But so you'll see a lot more just quick tip articles posted on the blog, and then once a month we'll be doing a webinar on a more detailed topic.
Now, as another note, that is from wxPerts LLC. If you, as one of our group members, have a certain thing that you want to show, you want to explain to people how you did it, so that way they can have a chance to figure out and maybe use it themselves, then feel free to contact myself or Pete or Glenn, and we will schedule you a webinar to do it any Friday in between one of ours. Okay. That way, it's, everybody can contribute. I want to say again, I appreciate everybody's contributions on the Google Plus forum. We are, it has actually turned out to be everything that I hoped it would be. So, we're real happy about that. More announcements in the future. Other than that, all I can say is y'all be good or be good at it. We're done with today. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Pete. Any?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing